Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be in this world. And welcome to another Nerd Nation podcast. We'll be talking about a variety of things today. The main thing we'll be talking about will be Star Wars Squadrons, but we're going to brush over a few other things. For instance, the Xbox reveal, which was the other day, as well as another animated Star Trek project. And I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima for the last few days, and I want to give my thoughts on that. So we're going to get the ball rolling. I'm here with my friend, cousin Cheeto. Say hello, my friend.
What's up?
We're going to get the ball rolling. Can you hear me, by the way? I forgot to ask about my mic. Is it okay?
No, you're fine. I can hear you just fine.
Very good. So we're going to get the ball rolling and initially talk about the recent Xbox reveal now. I kind of brushed over this just recently. When I say recently, I mean within the last hour, because I'm a PlayStation guy, I'm a Sony guy. I have no real interest in the Xbox, and if something was interesting came out of this reveal, I would have found out about it a lot earlier than I did do, which was only an hour ago. So we're going to briefly talk about this. I know Roberto has not much interest in the Xbox reveal or Xbox itself. Am I correct, Roberto?
You are correct. It is by far the least interesting thing since Ginger told me the color of his butt hair. So
wonderful. Well, one of the problems with this reveal and why it absolutely fell flat on its face is that Xbox was basically announcing that they're going to be showing us lots of games, and they showed us fuck all. What they did show, when it came to games as well, what they did show was a lot of first-person shooters. There wasn't much innovation. They're still stuck in their bubble of Halo and shit like that. A lot of their original titles are not memorable titles. They're not going to be leaving a legacy. I mean, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima right now, Sony exclusive. Xbox would love to have their hands on something like that, or The Last of Us, or any of the Spider-Man titles. They would love to get their hands on that, and these are quality titles, which has made Sony what it is. Xbox has not got nothing compared to that. I'm surprised they're going to even get people buying their shit. I think most people who end up buying an Xbox will probably also have a fucking PlayStation anyway. So this reveal fell very flat on its face, as far as I'm concerned. It offered nothing, showed nothing, didn't even garner an interest from me. Never once made me think to myself, you know what, I'm going to possibly get a fucking Xbox here. Not once. Not fucking once. Bollocks. Shame on you, Microsoft. You have no idea what the fuck you're doing. An organization, a corporation as powerful as you, which is all about all this shit, can't fucking come up with some decent games. What the fuck's wrong with you guys? I'm pissed off. What do you think, Roberto?
I mean, I've never been an Xbox guy. I've never liked the Xbox. I mean, from what I understand, it was just a bunch of first-person shooter stuff. I mean, you know, it made Sony's was the PS5 reveal and kind of like that look and stuff like that look like it was like the frickin', you know, best thing ever. So I mean,
Second coming of Jesus.
Yeah, right. I mean, it just didn't do anything for me. So
fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I totally understand. It didn't do anything for me either. And I think this could be a death knell in the future of Xbox, because I really don't. I think only loyal followers of Xbox, and they're stupid that they are loyal, are going to probably buy an Xbox. And as I also said, that a lot of people who have an Xbox are going to probably have a PlayStation as well. I do know people like that, which is weird. Why have both? AJ's like that, for instance, he's got both. It's a bit weird, but I guess if you can afford to do it. Personally, if I had an Xbox and a PlayStation, my Xbox would be a glorified paperweight. It would be just fucking standing there doing nothing. It'd be a waste of my fucking room space. So I'm only going to get a PS5. So that's pretty much on the Xbox. I wanted to briefly talk about it because it's a pile of shit and it's not worth any of our times. If you are into Xbox and you're looking for more information on it, I do apologize for not giving you further information on this particular subject. Shall we move on, Roberto?
Absolutely. I am all for moving on.
Wonderful. Well, let's talk about the main event here, and that is Squadrons, Star Wars Squadrons. I'm not sure if we got any footage at all, Roberto. Are you able to pull anything up, mate?
No, I mean, I can if you give me
No.
a second, but I mean,
No problem. Now, because we're a small channel here, we unfortunately didn't get our hands on any of the Star Wars Squadron beta demos that were given out by EA to certain YouTubers. Now, these YouTubers tend to be a mix of sci-fi Star Wars fans as well as gamers, and both. So a lot of these YouTubers were playing Star Wars Squadrons, and if you do type in Star Wars Squadrons and do a search for within the last couple of days, you will see tons of videos of these YouTubers playing and showing their own gameplay footage of some of the online gaming, and some of the ships they were in and stuff like that. And it was really interesting. One of the things that a lot of these people were saying about this game is do not expect it to be like Starfighter Assault on Battlefront 2, which is what a lot of people initially assumed. And by looking at it, they probably still assume that. But every one of these gamers says that even though it might look similar to a degree, obviously it's fucking Star Wars. Some things are going to resemble other things when it comes to Star Wars.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh, there we go. So even though some things might look similar, the actual gameplay itself is a lot different, and there's a steep learning curve, what some of them are saying, for every ship. And there's 8 ships, and even though the ships will be of a similar style, each pair of a ship on each class will be of a similar style. And a ship on each side of the same class will be of a similar style. I finally got that right. I do apologize. Each of those ships still will be, there will be a learning curve to know how to fly them properly and all of that. Your cockpit's going to basically show you what you can do, where you can move your shields, where you can move your engine speed, where you can move your weapons. You can like transfer your power to different things. We kind of already knew that, but these guys were actually talking into depth about it, and that was kind of interesting. They mentioned how fast things like the interceptors are, like the A-Wing, how it's a super fast ship. And I'm very happy to hear that, because the A-Wing was kind of fast in Starfighter Assault, but I don't think it gave itself justice. And the A-Wing in this game apparently is really fast, and it's really hard. They're really hard to kill. And the only way to kill an interceptor ship apparently is with another interceptor ship, which is good. They were saying that games like Overwatch were very similar to this. Like you have to have a tank and a healer and an assault guy and maybe a support guy and shit like that. Well, in this case, the Y-Wing, the TIE bombers are the tanks, but it's like the reverse tank. They're tanky because they can take a lot of damage, but they're not there to take damage. They're there to fucking do damage, because that's what they are. They're fucking bombers. So everybody has a role to play. The Reapers and the U-Wings are like the support classes. Because apparently they will be restocking us with ammo. So by the sounds of things, and this was actually necessarily confirmed in some of the streams I watched, but if they're having to give us more ammunition, then do we have an ammo capability? Do we have to watch how much we shoot? We can't just go willy-nilly bang 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 bang, because our ammo is precious to us. And if we lose our U-Wing, then we've only got what's in our ship, shit like that. There's all these sorts of strategies that come into play with a game like this. And we also found out that in the Fleet Assault, there will be lots of AI ships, because there's a morale meter, and then depending on which way the morale's going, whether you're winning or losing, if you're winning, your morale's going to go higher. Then if you have a higher morale, then you can go after the mini bosses, which are these sort of like star destroyers. If you're a part of the rebels, then you'll be trying to destroy these 2 star destroyers. Now, sorry for going on, Roberto, I hope you don't mind.
No, it's fine. I mean, I've got plenty that I want to say, but I mean, just go through what you want to say, and then I'll go through my spiel.
No problem. In Starfighter Assault, there were these Death Stars and shit like that. You could fly around, and they would maybe hit you now and again, with a turret laser, but they never did that much damage. Apparently, if you fly too close to these Star Destroyers, and you're not ready to take them on with your team, you will get turned into toast. You'll be shredded. You'll get destroyed. And I like that. I like that. It's not that simple. I like the fact that it's more difficult when it comes to strategy, and it's not just straight up just locking someone on and trying to kill them. I like the way that you can use countermeasures, and you have components. And I'm so sorry, I'm going on so much. I'm just losing myself in a tidal wave of thought regarding all these videos I've seen. So I'm going to stop yabbering on and boring people to death and let you take over, Roberto, and I'll add some more shit later.
It's going to be the modern day TIE Fighter X-Wing games. That's exactly what I'm saying, which I'm super stoked for, because it's just going to be those games, but more in depth. You get to customize your ships and everything. I would kind of wish they would probably focus more on the single player campaign, like in TIE Fighter and X-Wing that they did, but I don't think they're going to do that, which will be the only drawback for me, because I kind of want there to be like multiple campaigns and, like they did in the old TIE Fighter X-Wing games. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go YouTube it. The games are fantastic. They came out in like 94, 93, something like that. And then they're just great games. And they're exactly this. What?
They were fantastic. Do you remember sometimes in those games, if you died and shit, then either an Imperial ship or a Corvette might pick you up, and then if it's a Corvette, then you'll see yourself in the back to tank. Remember all of that? Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah, that was so cool.
I loved those games so much, it's not even funny. They were a product of their time. So if you look at them now, they'll probably be like, but the story, in my opinion, the stories were good. Especially in TIE Fighter and X-Wing Alliance, the third one, like the stories were good. You had the introduction of, well, not the introduction, but like one of the major introductions of Vice Admiral Thrawn was in TIE Fighter was one of his introductions. I know he came in the books first, but like my first interaction with him was in now I lose my train of thought. Was in TIE Fighter. And he was a pretty prominent.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Was he in that? I don't recall.
Yeah, he debuted in the books, but one of his first major things was in TIE Fighter, and he was a major part of the story. He was all over the place in those stories, and I'm not going to spoil anything for a 30-year-old game, but Thrawn was very prominent in the storylines there. So and I'm not saying that they didn't do justice with him in Rebels, but I thought that that they did him better in TIE Fighter, truth be told. So but this game that's what this game is going to be. This game is going to be like a modern version of TIE Fighter and X-Wing, and we got these ads. What the heck? So. Oh, and it's John Cena. Look.
Unbelievable. He's riding a cow.
Anyway, but that's what I'm really excited for. I hope the single player campaign is going to be really in depth and a lot of content. But in this day and age, with the way online gaming is, I don't think it will be. I think it'll mostly be online focused. You'll have some not Squadrons, Battlefront 2. You'll have some basic storyline or whatever. That's kind of cool, but honestly, in the long run, it's all going to be about multiplayer, is what it's going to be about.
For sure.
I really hope I'm wrong, though. I really hope that they blow us away with the single player camping. But
I heard the single player campaign is very good from some of these YouTubers. They were very impressed with it. One of the things that bugged me a little bit is the fact that you got crosshairs in the middle of your screen. I like the fact that the crosshairs was on the side on that little dial on the left. I prefer that because that's more authentic. To put crosshairs also in the middle makes it too easy, in my opinion. I think a glance on the left, making sure that they're perfectly in the middle, brings an element of skill. And I think they should have gone down that route, because they've had it. Because when you first saw the gameplay trailer about a month ago, there was no crosshairs. It was only the dial on the left, as you can see on this screen. That's your crosshair. But now they put a crosshair in the middle as well. And I think they should not have done that. Also, you do have a choice. You can have the displays on the control panel as well as on your screen. But I'm only going to have displays on my control panel because you've only got so much screen when it comes to finding where shit is. So the last thing you need to do is clutter it up with more shit. So I'm going to play that way. I'm going to make sure that everything I see and I need to know is on my control panel, and I don't need it on my screen. How are you going to operate, Roberto?
What was that? Like, what was the last part?
Well, you have when it comes to your weapons, your components, the crosshairs, it's all on the control panel. But you do have the option of having it also on your monitor, on your screen.
But I like having it in the cockpit. I really
do. In the cockpit, it's much better because you don't want more of your screen cluttered up with more shit. If you got it on the cockpit, have it there and try and be able to look at the very small visibility you do have in this game, because it is going to be very difficult to see things at times. But I'm actually favoring, looking at all these clips, I'm really favoring the TIE fighters more than the X-Wings and the A-Wings and shit like that. And I'll tell you why. Because you can see beneath you. Look, like this one. You got a full frontal view. Granted, nothing much on the side, but you can see up and down and a little bit left and right. Whilst if you're sitting in the cockpit of an A-Wing or an X-Wing, you can only see in front of you and not beneath you. Like this, look, because you've got your control panel there. You see, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So, any particular ships that have got you interested?
I mean, always the type, always the A-Wing. I mean, I'm more of an A-Wing type. I think the TIE Fighter and the TIE Interceptor might be a good point for me if they're done right. In Battlefront 2, one thing I've come to learn that the TIE Fighters are just kind of, they're just kind of, I don't know, they're just kind of bulky, and they're just not, they don't strike me as TIEs. Like, so like, and they seem severely under, like in the game TIE Fighter, you felt like a TIE Fighter could take on an X-Wing, even though TIE Fighters don't have shields. But you still felt like it because of the maneuverability and the small scale, whereas an X-Wing's a bit bulkier, a little less maneuverable, and so you really just had to, outmaneuver the X-Wings and stuff like that, even though they had shields. And that's kind of how I felt with some of this gameplay that came through. I really feel like the TIE Fighters are a bit more maneuverable than like the X-Wings and stuff like that. So I think that'll be an advantage for the TIEs. Even the bombers, even the TIE bombers are going to be more maneuverable than the Y-Wings, I feel.
For sure. And regarding maneuverability, what was also mentioned is that you can have a lack of maneuverability by being totally still where you are. And I like that because you can't do that in Starfighter Assault. You can slow yourself down, but you're always moving. In this game, if you want to stop still, you can do. I like that.
Well, and that was, as I said, back in TIE Fighter, that was one of the fun things. Is like you could just come to a complete halt and just, if you know that something's hyperspacing in, throughout the mission, you could just wait for them to hyper. You could just wait in a certain spot to hyperspace in, and then you could just go after them right there. So yeah, but I mean, like Battlefront 2 is more like nonstop online space action, whereas this hopefully Squadrons will more be a strategic and more of a methodical strategy game. I'm hoping.
Now, if you were going to play this game, what sort of role would you like to play?
What role?
Would you like to be
a rebel or an imperial or
no? I think it doesn't matter for either team, unless it does matter for you for either team. But what vehicles would you, I mean, what role would you think would be the best role for you to play in a game like this? Like, would you like to be the offensive interceptor? Would you like to be the jack of all trades, X-wing, TIE fighter? Would you like to be the support class? The backup in the Reaper in U-wing, or would you like to be the heavy hitter in the Y-wing or bomber? What's got you? What do you think would be your role in a game like this?
Probably. I mean, I've always liked being the role of the support character. Hold on, I'm gonna.
It's a guy called Death Rise here. I think he's been with us before. If it's made by EA, this will probably be all it is, and a lot of pay-to-win features. Now Death Rise, I do know that this game, even though it's made by EA, it will have no microtransactions. They said it themselves. Don't get me wrong, this shit could easily change, but then it's going to look bad on them because they've already said no microtransactions. All the leveling up has to be done through play.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it looks good. I mean, I'm not gonna hold my breath. As I said, my only thing is that they're gonna have more focus on online stuff, and that's just not. You know me. That's just not my jam. So
well,
I mean,
when it comes to some of the games, Roberto, for instance, the 5-on-5 and the other mode, you can play against AI, and apparently there's going to be like maybe 40, 50 ships per team, including it'll be the 5 player ships per team, and maybe like 35 AI ships. So even in a mode like that, it's quite mixed. And this is Boogeyman. Oh, welcome, Boogeyman. It's good to see ya. All these different names, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, I think I just find that really interesting, and my only concern about this game is longevity. I think this game is going to be good fun. I love the fact it's got a steep learning curve. I love the fact that nearly every person who's played this game has said that it's nothing like Starfighter Assault, and that is good. I don't know what you think. Are you happy that it's not? A lot of people are saying that it's nothing like Starfighter Assault.
Yeah, I definitely don't want it to be like Starfighter Assault. I mean, it's, as I said, I'm okay with it being its own thing. I'm okay with it being not the typical Star Wars Starfighter thing which we've gotten for the past couple games. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an online player, so it's like if a game is geared towards online play, I'm less likely to like it. So unfortunately, I mean, if it's geared to, it's just going to be more of Battlefront 2 then. I mean, because I already played Battlefront 2. I'm kind of already tired of it. Like the spaceship battles.
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of getting there myself. A little with it, but because there's more depth in this game when it comes to customization. I'm hoping it's gonna have some sort of legs on it. Customization is the main thing, and flying around in these ships with all these learning curves and all these abilities. Like apparently the sort of like drift handbrake turn Poe Dameron did in Last Jedi at the beginning of the film when he's flying around in his X-wing. You can do that sort of shit.
I mean, that doesn't impress me all that much, truth be told.
Maybe not. Maybe not. But what people are saying regarding the maneuverabilities, they say that's it can be at times more complicated, but more rewarding than it would be on Starfighter Assault. And also because everything's in first person, people are concerned about not knowing the parameters and the of the width of the ship. But pretty much any gap you can fly through, any gap your window can see through, is any gap your ship can go through. Pretty much, that's what they were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I I mean, that's just something you got to learn. So, that's just something like when I played TIE Fighter and X-Wing. That's just something you had to learn. I mean,
well, I'm definitely going to be getting this game. I'm pretty sure you are, Roberto. Star Wars and
absolutely.
And I know a couple other people who will be getting this game, so we definitely need to get a crew together when we start doing all this stuff. And I think it's going to be good fun. I really do. Whether we win or lose, I just want to just be able to fly around and do stuff and blow shit up and put people in my sights and maybe dodge a missile and all these sort of things. Also, another thing, you won't be dying if you hit stuff. You'll bounce off it. You might get some damage, and I mean, if your ship's taking a lot of damage, you might die. But when you usually in Star Wars Starfighter Assault, in Battlefront Starfighter Assault, if you hit something, you die. Not in this game. And also, when it comes to the damage of your ship, you see it visibly on your ship, like your glass will start breaking and cracking and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
So, anyway, any more to say about Star Wars Squadrons?
Not really. I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm just hoping that it carries over, if you get what I'm saying.
I hope so too. I mean, it is a cheap game, and I really think EA should try to look into this project a bit more and maybe work on some DLC for the future, because I think they're onto a winner here, because a lot of people from the reviews I've got from these YouTubers are very excited about this game. They do like this game, but the only thing is longevity. But we'll see how that goes. But I'm definitely getting this game, longevity or not. I'm getting this fucking game. Especially now that the reviews have been so positive by a lot of these YouTubers. I'm enticed. I want to play this game quite fucking badly. Okay, let's move on. We're going to go on to your subject now, because I just been informed that there's a new fucking Star Trek show, a new one, another animated Star Trek show, and I believe it's for Nickelodeon. Roberto knows more about this. Take it away, my son.
Star Trek Prodigy is going to be coming to Nickelodeon either at the end of this year or the beginning of next. I'm kind of looking up some information here, trying to do way too much. So apparently, they say that in 2020 there are 6 new series in production simultaneously, and they'll all have to be, and they have all thought to be over. What? Okay. Well, I'm not reading. I'm going to kind of summarize this because I don't know. It's being developed by Kevin and Dan Hageman of Troll Hunters or Ninjago, which the Ninjago thing's actually pretty positive. My son watched it a lot, and I mean, if this is a kid's show, they might as well go for a kid's show. I mean, I'm okay with them having like a kid's show Trek show. I mean, like, am I going to watch it? Probably not. But I mean, it's not meant for me, you know? So I don't know what, like much information beyond that. I think they just revealed a logo, which if you give me 1 second, I can bring up on here, but yeah, I mean, that's really it is, God, I'm just so disorganized today. I can't even. But yeah, so that's really it. I mean, I'm kind of excited for it because it shows that Trek is doing more than just sitting there with their thumbs up their butts. So, you know, I mean, I'm all for them experimenting with different things. And honestly, I'm okay with this.
You think this is their attempt to maybe to garner a new generation of fans? Because I don't know many young Star Trek fans.
Oh, there's probably not.
And I think they realize, I think the powers that be realize that as much as Star Trek is a cultural phenomenon, the word I can't say, but you know what word I'm saying. You know, nevertheless, it is one of the biggest things in in I can't even think of the fucking word right now, but it's very popular. When it comes to science fiction, it's up there. It's one of the fucking granddaddies. So it does need to keep its legacy going with new, younger fans, because a lot of fans haven't grown up with it like we have. We all watched it as kids, but that was years ago. And what, you think kids are going to be interested in it now? When there's all these other shit taking their attention? No. So they need new, fresh shit to get the kids interested, and this is for them. So they're just basically sowing the seeds for future fans, I believe. Whether this will be the way forward, I'm not sure, because as kids we watched Star Trek for what it is. We didn't need cartoons to entice us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about having a second animated show, and would it be? And if this is Nickelodeon, then it's not going to be anything like Lower Decks, because Lower Decks seems to be a lot more adult orientated regarding the humor. While if this is Nickelodeon, it's going to be far from that. It's going to be probably more. I can't even imagine. But
I mean, it's going to be kid oriented, and that's fine with me. As I said, I'm okay with them doing kid oriented stuff. They got to do it well. I mean, if a kid show, would get my kids interested in Star Trek, because I mean, they're not really interested in it. They're not really interested in it right now. Like, I've tried showing them some Star Trek, and they're just kind of like, meh.
Yeah,
I want to watch Minecraft.
Because it looks dated, for any kid who watches it now. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I want something like I want something new.
It's a real shame, isn't it? Like, how do you get it's no different to Star Wars to a degree. It's amazing how many young people don't give a fuck about Star Wars. It's all about Marvel. Marvel is the new Star Wars. No one gives a fuck about Star Trek, and it's a real shame. These are amazing pieces of art that have kept us entertained for decades. And I mean, I know they still got other stuff going. They've got Picard season 2 coming up. I know they've got Discovery season 3 coming up, and they've got Strange New Worlds coming up. But I really hope it's good. I really hope. I mean, I don't want it to be. I just don't want it to be stupid. I really don't want it to be stupid. I'm willing to accept a bit of stupidity with Lower Decks, because I kind of see where they're going with the trailers, but not this. I really, what? I want this to be like Sesame Street. I want this to be informative, educational. Because Star Trek is, I think it can be like that. It can be really. It can, it's giving people ideas like fucking mobile phones, for instance. The ideas for that, came from things like Star Trek. Or maybe I'm wrong saying that, but they were like doing flip phones and shit before people were doing flip phones. So it's amazing how many things like tablets as well that also was on Star Trek before there were fucking tablets. So there's so many things that can come from Star Trek in the future, and I'm yabbering on here, and I do apologize, but I just want it to be educational for kids. That'll be so fucking good. Or you're not up for that, Roberto, or would you rather it just be a straight up show?
No, I mean, that's about it. I mean, I haven't seen anything else about what the show's going to be about, and maybe at the time of this recording we don't have it, but maybe something's come out since then. So I mean, obviously you look up your own information, and definitely try to figure out what's the latest news. I mean, the only thing that's going to get Star Trek back into the limelight is attention. Like giving it attention, giving it clicks, giving it streaming. They have to know we want these things in order for them to make more. And I get it. Like, there's some bad Trek out there, there's some good Trek out there. I mean, but the only way we're going to get more Trek is if we support what's out there And if Lower Decks is terrible, then don't watch it. Then they'll know, oh, they don't like this, so let's make something different. Because in my opinion, there will always be Trek, and not always, but like there will most likely always be Trek. So especially in the age of streaming, we our clicks and our support are what, like, if we want more Picard, we got to watch more Picard. So.
Well, Roberto, this is the funny thing. I think since Enterprise, yeah, I think that from that show onwards, I think the makers of Star Trek have been striking out. They made a show like Enterprise. I know you liked it, but only lasted 4 seasons. People are very hit and miss on Discovery as well. People are hit and miss on Picard. These are shows that are not really that popular. Like when TNG came out, no complaints. DS9, people were fucking ecstatic they were getting spin-offs. And then Voyager 2, more of the fucking journey and shit. But with a spin on it, with these people trying to get home. Fucking fantastic. No one complained. Even if they did, there was such a minority.
There were.
No, even if they were, there was such a minority, they couldn't be heard. Yeah. But these shows, Enterprise, 4 seasons, unbelievable. Every Star Trek show's had 7 seasons apart from the original series, and this one only had 4.
But here's the thing: the original series got canceled because of ratings. It only
I know,
because the movies were so good.
I know, I understand all of that, but it's from TNG. I'm talking TNG onwards. TNG 7 seasons, DS9 7 seasons, Voyager 7 seasons, Enterprise. They weren't going forward. They went backwards, and then they made Enterprise 4 seasons. It wasn't good enough. As much as you might have liked it, it wasn't good enough. And Star Trek Discovery has got fans divided. Picard has got fans divided. These are not unifying Star Trek fans, these shows recently, and that's not a good sign. And sometimes
I think that it's just also a part that a lot of fans just cannot be satisfied. I mean, honestly, like I see it in Star Wars, I see it in Star Trek, I see it in a lot of places. But
you can see them trying to be. But you can see them trying to be different. But then you got something like Orville, which is not even fucking Star Trek, but people are all over that because it's more Star Trek than Star Trek is. And we've already debated this in the past. I mean, that's just it's following the formula to a T to Star Trek, and that's what people want. And it's really difficult. I mean, that's why hopefully Strange New Worlds will give us that. They give us what people have been craving for: some good old-fashioned Star Trek done in the Star Trek way, and that's what people want. And I think maybe trying to bring out new shit. I mean, they just need to repackage their old shit, and and that'll work a dream, in my opinion. And maybe one day in the future they can still bring out spin-offs and other shit as well, as long as they've got like a flagship of original. So when I say original, I mean old school style Star Trek. Keep that as a flagship way of doing stuff, and then branch it out with other shit. You see where I'm coming from?
Yep, I get you.
Yeah, but anyway, we kind of spun away from Prodigy. I am looking forward to it. Now we're talking about it. It's getting more into my mind. But I only found out about Prodigy today. I had no idea that the people makers of Star Trek would dare attempt 2 animated fucking shows, especially as one of them is a kiddie one and one of them isn't. Nevertheless, let's move on. Are you okay with that, Roberto?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I've been playing shitloads of Ghost of Tsushima. I've been playing it since it came out on Friday, and I've been playing it for almost a fucking week. This game is really good, but it's getting quite repetitive for me. It's beautifully made, but when it comes to the variety in the game, there isn't much. I mean, the story modes and the side missions will always give you some depth into the overarching narrative of the game. But when it comes to what you do, it's always going to be very similar. Whether it be archery, whether it be sword fighting. Now, I have been mixing it up in my most recent playthroughs. I'm trying to play more like the assassin, the ghost mode, and I've unlocked some abilities to do that. So the game is always adding a bit of freshness here and there when you unlock abilities. But nevertheless, when it comes to the overall playthrough of this game, there is not as much variety as I would hope for. I would still recommend this game, but it is going to be a grind. I do get quite tired after about an hour and a half. I feel like putting my joypad down because I'm doing a lot of the same shit, even though the same shit is fun to do. It is fun to fight people in sword fights and stuff like that. I do like the combat as well. I do like the fact that when you stab someone, they will fucking die. They don't have some stupid health bar. They get cut up a couple of times, they're going down. And that makes the fighting far more satisfying than this health bar bollocks. Obviously, when you're fighting certain bosses, they will have a bar and stuff like that, but you don't mind that change of pace because, it's a more personal duel when you're fighting a boss and you enjoy the combat of it. The game looks great. Some of the voice work is fantastic, especially from the main characters. I do believe this game might have been downgraded a little bit regarding graphically compared to what we saw earlier on. I'm not always surrounded by flying petals and shit like that. But this is the Assassin's Creed in Japan that a lot of people wanted. It follows a lot of the same textbook of Assassin's Creed. Yes, you don't have a hidden blade, but you didn't have a hidden blade in Odyssey, and that was an Assassin's Creed. But even regardless of Odyssey, this game follows the rules of Assassin's Creed. You've got smoke bombs, you've got distractions, you've got instead of like maybe throwing knives, you've got shurikens and stuff like that. This is the Assassin's Creed Japan people have always wanted. You can't climb everything, and if you do want to climb certain things, you might need to find something a bit smaller to climb on to get onto the biggest thing you want to climb on. But it's just I don't want to shit on this game because I am enjoying it, but I do wish there was a bit more variety in the variety you do have, because the variety you do have just makes you do the same thing, which is chopping people up, and that is fun. But there should be more to that. There are other things which is not necessarily chopping people up, like maybe cutting up some bamboo and shit like that. That's pretty cool. And you got some of the.
I thought we were going to do a review on this when you were done with it.
I'm sorry, but I'm kind of doing. I mean, I haven't finished playing it, but I feel like I've played enough to talk about it. I mean, when it comes to finish playing it, it'll just be because I know how the story would have ended. But I'm pretty sure that I've played a lot of the format of the game as how it is. Yes, maybe the final boss might be a bit unique, but nevertheless, the overarching game of what people are going to be playing, this is what I'm explaining. This is what I'm reviewing right now. I do recommend people get this game. Just don't expect it to be so just have so much variation in what you can do. But it is good fun nevertheless. But it's grindy as fuck at times.
Well, don't forget, your playthrough is coming up on Nerd Nation. Or it's actively releasing right now.
Yes, I just would also like to thank Roberto for copying my my playthroughs and putting it on YouTube. He doesn't have to do this, but he does, and it's very, very kind of him for him to go out of his way to do that, and I do thank him for that.
You're welcome, Zam.
No, honestly, I really do. It's a very, very nice gesture, mate. And he is doing that for me, and my playthroughs are there. Sometimes my playthroughs are world class, so you do want to watch them. Sometimes they are amazing, some of the greatest things you've ever seen in your entire life. So join us on Nerd Nation for that. It's on the YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Also, don't forget to join us on the Facebook page. But I'm not ending here, Roberto. Is there anything you'd like to say about Ghost of Tsushima from my playthroughs?
Just from anything? What you played, I mean, I do see the little bit of repetitiveness. I do see, but I mean, graphically it looks on point. Story-wise, I mean, it's kind of a breath of fresh air, I think, in the open world type of Assassin's Creed type game. I mean, hopefully this will make Ubisoft get on their game and release us a world-class Assassin's Creed game next, because they say, oh crap, Ghost of Tsushima is giving us a run for our money. And if we know controversy creates cash, but also competition creates creativity. So
for sure.
But
I mean, they're getting beaten at their own game, with this. They really are. And because I've been playing some as the Ghost, the assassin character at times, when I'm fucking people over, they are shitting their pants. They like fall on the floor and they're running away, and I just stab them. And then they're crawling away, and I just stab them on the ground. It feels so empowering. Little things like that. Being able to change your stances, like if you're fighting against a guy with swords, you have one stance, and you can use the same stance against guys with shields and javelins or brutes, but then that stance won't be necessarily as effective when fighting those guys. So you have to change your stance all the time. So one minute you'll be fighting a guy with swords, but then his mate might have a shield, so you have to change your stance to the stance that's good against shield guys. And then next thing you know, one of the other guys has got a javelin, so you immediately change to the spear stance. Or another guy might be 7 foot tall, so you change to the brute stance. And it's really good because these different stances help at fighting people. So it keeps you on your toes, changing your variation and stuff like that. So there are good moments in the game. But I'm getting to the point in the game now where the journey is so long that I wanted to finish, but I still feel there's a lot more journey for me to do. And it's exhausting. It's fucking exhausting. But for some people, this game's a dream. I mean, you are getting your money's worth with a game like this. Make sure you do most of the side missions first before you do the main. And there's always things that will pop up. There's lots and lots of stuff to do. I've been playing this game for hours. How many hours have I been playing with this game, Roberto? How many hours have you pumped up on YouTube? What, about 15, 16 hours?
I mean, I'm editing right now part 15. And the first 10 was 30 minutes a piece, and then moving forward 11 through, I think, I just rendered 16. So parts 11 through 16 are all 1 hour increments. So there's 6 hours right there. And so probably about 11, 12 hours I've just pumped out. But I mean, you have more that I haven't finished yet.
Exactly. So I'm just thinking how many hours I've been, apart from yesterday, which was the first time I didn't play the game since I got it. The first day I got the game, I pumped in 5 hours. Second day I pumped in 3, and maybe the third day I pumped in 3 to 5. I'm just losing count. I did about 4 hours today, before I had enough. Yeah, there's a lot to do. So
Well, I think we lost Zam. It's saying that I have an excellent connection on my end, so I guess I'm going to wrap it up. Oh, you there? Well, we can't hear him now. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was nice to talk, and bounce back off of one another with Squadrons and with the new Star Trek show and Star Wars. Well, I already said Squadrons. Ghost of Tsushima, that's kind of a project we're working on a lot recently. And, so, I mean, we a lot of things going on. The Xbox thing, who cares, really? I mean, let's be real. Who cares? But yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up here. So thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to do a Zam outro. Thank you very much for watching, and have a blessed day. I don't know. What does Zam normally say? Thank you very much for watching and something. I don't know. All right. Later, y'all. Bye.